the game's live, so let's just jump right into game number 4. Deer going up against Apocalypse once again, and our Protoss player, he starts to the top right of the map here on Habitation Station, has the 2-1 lead now in the best of 5 series here at the quarterfinal at the ASUS ROG 2014. And to the top left, the Terran player positioned here in red, losing the last game and finds himself once again at a disadvantage. Can he tie the score once more? Will Deer take it with a 3-1 and advance to the semifinal, where he would go up against 4GG, the Millennium player? We're going to find out right now what is Apocalypse going to do and what is Deer going to do. Will Deer go for a Blink build again? Because it just seems so good against Apocalypse style.
Now, speaking about Blink on this map, just to entertain that possibility that you've just raised here, I was going to say indeed, just go again Blink, because Apocalypse has shown no progress since the games against Elfie to the game now against Deer.
It's just not the best Blink map here.
Yeah. That's the problem. I was like, if it's any other map, maybe Frost, maybe Alter Zim even. Yeah, maybe Alter Zim even. He could go for Blink, but this is one of the worst Blink maps. There's a small ramp leading to the natural. There's no real nuance in the way that you can abuse that. It's not level like just now on Yonsu. And you can Blink into the main base from the gold, but it's such an obvious location, a very narrow staging ground, that if Terran just defends those 2 areas, he's going to be more than fine. So, yeah, probably no Blink on this map.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the maps where you are really reluctant to go for that. But on the other hand, it's a map where we see, for example, a lot of Stargate play, where we see a lot of Oracles. And that might be something that he's going to do here.
Yeah, you've just touched upon it. It's exactly that. We see an immediate mass saturation on the gas, and the probe here in place to build a proxy pylon. It's going to be the proxy Oracle. There's going to be an Oracle in Apocalypse's base at 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Deal with it.
Well, on the other hand, Apocalypse is probably going to realize very soon what he's up against. It's one of those builds that you expect on a map like this. So,
yeah.
Question being, is he going to be able to defend against it? So far, Deer didn't really have a lot of success with the Oracle plays that he had, but this one is much more aggressive than what we've seen so far by him.
That's right. He's going to get that Oracle in at 5 minutes and 10 seconds, I believe, judging from the timing here. Now, having seen this, Apocalypse knows immediately. He knows. He has seen this often enough. It's a very funny, funny build for Protosses and annoying for Terrans. He sees that gas starts an eBay immediately, and I feel like that's the correct response. There's no way he can get enough Marines in time to defend all the places. And you will go to see exactly where it is. There's just 2 locations possible. One is here at the gold, one is under his natural. There he goes and finds this. Starts working on the pylon, and he will actually take down that pylon before the Oracle finishes, if it isn't Deer putting up another pylon there with a probe. Now, where is Deer's probe?
The Mothership Core is coming in to save the day on the other hand.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, yeah, of course.
Well, there is a 3rd Marine now coming in. But the Oracle will definitely come out of the Stargate.
Yeah, if anything, the Mothership Core is buying time, even if it can't beat 3 to 4 Marines.
And it's just about the time that you need to get that Oracle in there, but we already have the missile turret building, and he's actually getting several ones, or at least he's trying to, but that SCV is going to fall.
I really like how he tried to cancel this turret from going up here, but that's some great turret positioning there by Apocalypse, choosing not to defend the 2 mineral lines because there are no SCVs yet at the natural anyway, besides that unlucky one. He's choosing to guard his production and his mineral line, which I find to be a very intelligent response, because you could say the mineral line is the main area of attack, but that Oracle can just as well fly over the barracks and kill all the Marines that pop out there. So very smart, good defense there by Apocalypse.
And at the same time, Deer investing into another Oracle. So he's playing really Oracle heavy here. We saw that a few times of him by now. And at home, he's going to go up with his own Nexus. But he's still trying to really do some damage with the Oracles. And we see more and more missile turrets coming into play now for Apocalypse, who of course is very eager to saturate his mineral line at the natural as well. The Marines already trying to recreate the space and just that safety net for the SCV that is building the structure here. And it's going to be very difficult for Deer with the missile turret in the production to make something happen with the Oracles. He's still skirting the edges and trying to find an opening, but it's really difficult for him to follow through with it. Harvest account right now is still a little bit ahead of the Protoss player, as you would expect. But that Oracle is trying to change things. Could find a spot at that refinery, but it's about the Marines that are just guarding the entire area of the main base. Yeah, that Oracle is just like an overeager reporter who's just always trying to find an angle. Wasn't able to find it, and this is a great game to learn from for any Terran.
I find that it's probably a safe bet that there are some Terrans watching this, maybe in the lower half of the leagues, nonetheless very avid StarCraft 2 gamers. And this is a great example to learn from. Doing an early scout like that with the SCV, when you see the Protoss is mining full gas, and he's not building from his warp gate, like his cyber core, his nexus and his gateway at the same time. If he's not building from all those three, but there's something missing, and you don't see a nexus yet, that's a proxy oracle. Make that judgment call right away and start an eBay, and guard your production facilities with a turret as well as your main mineral line. A great measured response here from Apocalypse. Made sure he's in a good position in the game. But of course, it's far from over. We've got Photon Overcharge ready here, sentries waiting, and the Marines will get shut out. Good result there for Apocalypse that he didn't lose too many Marines.
And we already... there he's losing both of the Oracles. Really nice job by Apocalypse. A little bit unlucky for Deer. And it's actually a bit uncharacteristic because he knew that the army would be there. He saw it already. It was moving back, but I feel that he didn't realize that his oracles were on the way back.
An unforced error.
Yeah. I was just about to say, on the other hand, that Deer is a player that has proven several times in the series already that even when he's behind, he is super dangerous. And at this point, he's not far behind of his opponent, as you already pointed out. The loss of the oracles is definitely an issue, but he's forcing now this Marine pressure back, and he is on the way to have a really good tech out there. Twilight Council coming up for the upgrades, for charge. We have also the Robotics Bay coming in now so that he can start with the oracles, with the Colossi. And that will put us in a position where we have, I think for the first time even, a Protoss player that doesn't rush out Storm.
It's the second time, I think. We saw it one time before.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's when we said it's the first time. So that
you're actually right. Yesterday we had, I think Elfie was doing it once, right?
Yeah, and I forgot how that went, but anyway. I do think that Apocalypse's lead should not be underestimated here. The worker counts are similar. But the Deer's tech is about a minute or two behind what it normally would be, whereas Apocalypse's is right on target. So I think Apocalypse does have a lead, but then he's still playing against Deer. So.
Yeah, the thing for Apocalypse is just we have Colossus #1 building, and just now Apocalypse finished his starport and is going into the medevac production because he needs them to make up for the stims that he's going to use pretty soon. And with those Colossi, there's so much DPS on the map, and I do not think that Apocalypse is aware what's happening right now. So he might not be in a position where he can put anything against those Colossi on the map just yet, and that might create an opportunity for Deer to really do massive damage to the Bio army.
Yeah, and I will also backpedal a little bit on the Apocalypse tech evaluation. He is quite behind as well. I didn't properly see that. Medivacs are about a minute late, and the stim pack is a minute or two late as well. So maybe a little bit more parity here in this game than I thought. Apocalypse does have the lead here in the supply, and that is a problem for him. Like you said, he doesn't know the tech right now. He hasn't gotten some scouting information. In fact, if you look at his vision, he thinks there's only one Nexus and a gateway in the main base. So.
Oh, we have the second Colossus about to come out, and also the range upgrade started. Here comes another expansion for Apocalypse, who decided to just clean up the map and make sure that this Stargate is not going to produce a problem for him later down the road. But we have I do not think that Apocalypse has any idea what's going on here, and this is really scary for him.
Is this a 2-base all-in from Deer? It looks like
it might be. Like Colossus #2 and #3 are on the way right now, halfway done with the range upgrade. And now, of course, Apocalypse sees what's coming, but he might even lose those medivacs, not just yet.
Wow, he's just going to fly in here with his unit. Starts to take down a lot of these Stalkers here. They do have Blink. He's got to watch out. He just used Speed Boost. Will not be able to use it again, and the Blink comes in and he takes down one medivac full of units.
Yeah, snipes one medevac down, and still, the medevacs, of course, always a problem. They could go back into the main base, but Deer will be really eager to move out since he realizes that there's not a whole lot for Apocalypse against Colossi. The Viking production has started, on the other hand, and the more time that Deer wastes, the less powerful this attack is going to be. So if he waits too long, he might as well not move out and just try to transition.
Yeah, that's how it often feels for me too when I'm trying to do this. If the Terran is effective at buying time, it becomes less and less relevant to still try and make it happen. And there you go. Like you said, Kaldor, he's starting a third Nexus, Templar Archives, Immortal. He knows he missed his timing. And he's very right in that evaluation. Apocalypse started triple bunker in his natural, and before he lost his factory, he started an armory and a starport.
Exactly.
And that's a very, very important decision.
That was one of the things that he actually did not do in the series against Alfie, against the first one that he lost.
That's right.
He lost the factory and did not get a second starport. But right now, Dia was really, he was so eager to move out with those Colossi and use that timing. But with Apocalypse, with that drop that he had there, he was buying so much time, and Dia realized it's not worth it anymore. Really good catch on those Medivacs on the other hand,
but
sniping it.
A lot of Stalkers here. He killed about 4 to 5 Stalkers, which makes it totally worth it. They're way more expensive than those Marines and 1 Medivac.
2-2 on the way for Apocalypse. Dia far away from having these upgrades on the map. He's already trailing behind in the upgrades. He really needs to start his chrono boost to make sure that he's able to just catch up on that. But we have Storm now started. Apocalypse at the same time, though, is not missing the tech transition at all. He already is on the way to getting the Ghost Academy out there, and that will allow him to get the EMPs, to get the snipes. Let's just see if he gets the first look cloaking and actually uses it at this time.
Yeah. And the other day he was making a Ghost Academy and not making Ghosts. So
yeah.
There's a lot of steps in getting Cloak Ghosts out, and it starts with getting the Ghost Academy, but you still have to follow through with step 2 and 3, which is making Ghost and Cloak.
Yeah. 3 bases now for both of them, but here comes once again Apocalypse with a quick move into the 3rd base, trying to do a lot of damage. Not really successful with it just yet. The Protoss player is immediately present to throw that back, is trying to go for some counter aggression at the 3rd base of his opponent, but the Zealots are caught by a few bio units, and of course the few medivacs that we have here helping out a great deal.
Yeah, 16 minutes, no charge yet. That's the depth of the delay that Deer had in his tech, and that made this run by a lot less effective.
And it's once again Apocalypse who starts to get a bit ahead in the overall supply. He is actually 20 ahead already. We have the Ghosts now being built, and also the Möbius Reactor. The 2-2 upgrades are going to be finished very soon. And at the bottom right of the map, we see once again Dia trying to catch a few of those dropships, taking down a few Marines. 1 Medivac's just barely able to escape here. And of course, the Viking production still
that is so
strong.
smart. Putting the Vikings there. He's going to use them later against Colossus, but he feels like War Prism is a chance for Deer to get back in the game or buy some time. If a War Prism comes there, he's going to be very, very happy.
And the thing is, like, he went up against a lot of Protoss players already, Elfie being one of them, that used War Prisms, and especially the Storm drops were a big issue for Apocalypse. So that's a very smart decision that he made here. You're absolutely right about this. And still, I feel that Apocalypse right now is really starting to get farther and farther ahead in the game.
Yeah.
The upgrades are good for him. He's getting additional bases. And Diaz maybe even playing a little bit too passive. Those small run-bys against that 3rd base are not doing anything for him so far.
He's just trying to somehow gather an army that's dangerous enough to contest with Apocalypse's army. And he does have a pretty sizable one. 3 Colossus, some Immortal, and a bunch of Storms. If he can micro well, he could do pretty well. But I'm not sure he should be the one to attack right now. He's not maxed out yet.
It's really the Storms that he needs, and he showcased his Storm play already in 2 of the matches, so Apocalypse on 200 supply still has to be careful. He has the Viking count to contest those Colossi, but can the Ghosts really deal with the High Templars here? The drop play once more at the 3rd base, but the cannon taking care of it. And whoa! What are those High Templars doing? That was like the worst pathing ever. Deer just sending a ton of High Templars into his opponent's army, and Apocalypse accepts gracefully, takes down every single one of them. That was definitely not planned.
Yeah, I think those Templars were high or something.
They had a death wish, that's for sure, and well, not a single one of them survived. So Dia suddenly loses the entire psionic force that he has there, but he has somehow managed to get the War Prism into the main base of his opponent, and they might even be able to take down the Engineering Bay and stop +3 attack.
Oh, Mothership Core goes down. There will be no time warps. Another High Templar walks to its death. They are very unlucky to have Deer as their commander in this game, and now suddenly Deer has to take a force. Apocalypse, I mean, he has to take a fight.
Yeah, we have Storms going down immediately, but the Terran player is chasing Deer away right now, picking off 1 Colossus after another, just way too many Vikings, and Deer is on the run right now. Apocalypse giving chase, taking down a lot of these units. Back at home in the main base, the Zealots were already taken out, but the Engineering Bay went down. Only the +3 armor upgrade still on the way, but Deer just lost so many High Templars. That High Templar you were mentioning that he had, you could argue out of position, but at the same time, he had a really good position to drop one of these Storms. He was just a little bit too slow with it. So losing the Mothership Core and everything else, Dia is starting to fall farther and farther behind in the series. It's just like he's falling a little bit apart here.
Yeah, he really is. A lot of unforced errors here, as Deer is very pressured here by Apocalypse from the great start that Apocalypse had. And now he's deciding to move in again, positioning his Stalkers ahead of his Zealots. Great pick off there on all the ghosts. That is good for him at least. And now maybe he can get some great storms. That one just hit a few Vikings. He only has one Colossus left. I don't know what he can do here.
Apocalypse seems to be the king of comebacks these days. Every time he finds himself down in the series, he's suddenly starting to turn things around. Zealots once again in his main base, definitely a nuisance here. But the big battles, he's always able to win those. Dia has 140 supply right now on 3 bases up against the Terran player on 4. And Apocalypse, he doesn't stop. He gets additional upgrades for the Vikings. He's heading into 2 additional command centers to even improve on the economy that is already very, very good for him. And he has a 40 supply lead in overall supply. The army supply is 40 ahead for him right now. A massive, massive army. And of course that can change if the storms are really good. But so far Dia has still to prove in this game that he's able to land these.
Yeah, Dia's only just starting a 4th, not even getting 3/3 upgrades. He is just spending everything, strangely enough, into these attacks which aren't really working. Now, granted he's so behind already that maybe he's just trying to get a lucky engagement, and he tries to catch the Apocalypse where Apocalypse isn't ready, kills most of the ghosts, but there's such a big standing army behind it.
The EMP hits so many High Templars, a few have still the energy for the storms, but it doesn't really look like Dia can do anything about this. Once more the Vikings moving in, taking down those Colossi. The Bio army already on the move with another stim, taking down Immortals and Stalkers alike. GG! And Apocalypse equalizes the score again and brings Dia to a 5th game.